Everybody clap your hands.
This is Nothing Coherent.
Oh, I'm Ryan.
I'm Brandon. I wasn't
Zach.
sure we were actually going to go off of that.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is our just kind of chill episode. We're
Chill.
just going to recap
Cold as ice.
things that we haven't talked about, because we haven't talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, we've been in kind of like, we have this week, we have this next week, we have all these other things we need to do.
Yeah, and
so.
life's been busy, so it's kind of just all over the place. And
Yeah.
We
So-
need friends. That's what we need.
yeah, I need other people to do this podcast. That's what we really need.
Yeah, we need
We're looking for
subs.
replacements. We're looking for
Trying to get
retirement.
rid of Zach, but
Oh, okay.
uh,
That's fine. I'll go off and start my own podcast where I'll talk for 27 hours about Fallout and how it's the greatest thing ever.
But so this week we're going to
Check
finally
out.
catch up on the Cats bet, and I did see it not in the bet. I just saw it on my own.
Yeah, you willingly went.
But Ryan and Zach saw it, and we're going to talk about Fast 9, of course.
The trailer.
But let's start with just some reviews. We'll end with Cats.
We'll end with
Let's
cats.
you
Okay.
start by talking about The Gentleman, because you've seen it. Heard a lot of
Yep.
positive thoughts on it.
So The Gentleman just came out, was it 2
End of
weeks
January.
ago? 2 weeks ago? Maybe?
Something like that.
It just came out. Anyways, Tarantino film. No, just kidding. It's like a Tarantino film.
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Yes. I knew that, but I was telling somebody it was like Tarantino. Trust me, I know. I know Guy Ritchie was in.
I was about to just
Yeah.
glare at you
No,
the entire
well,
show.
No, but it reminds me of just like a Tarantino film in the aspect of the humor / the just how they approach everything. Anyways, I didn't know anything about this film when I came in. It's one of the I love going to movies and not knowing a single thing about them sometimes, just to get an idea. Sometimes it really hurts and it's painful, and you're like, why did I do this? And then sometimes it's really rewarding. Fortunately for this time, it was really rewarding. Matthew McConaughey was really good in this. But mostly the whole film is kind of confusing in the beginning. I won't go into details or anything, but the gist of the movie is Matthew McConaughey has a huge drug farm of weed, and they're about to legalize it, essentially. And he's really, really smart about this, and people are trying to take advantage of that and try to buy it. And anyways, it's just this kind of a plot kind of thing where there's a lot of twist and a lot of not like necessarily a mystery type movie, perhaps, but more of like just a thriller of epic proportions and a lot of. And when you think the movie's done, it's not done, and then you think it's done, and like, okay, finally, there's nope, it's not done, and it keeps on, keeps on, keeps on. But it's very entertaining. And the acting, it was just fun. I think that was just a very, very fun movie. I didn't know exactly what to expect out of it, obviously not knowing very much about it, but I was very happy to be able to get to watch that. And I even offered to watch it again. I'm trying to get people to watch it with me so I can have another excuse to go watch it again. I know it's only February, but I would say could probably very good chance will be my top 10 for this year.
I have heard it's really good. I've heard a lot of people talk about, they'll be really surprised if it leaves their top 5. I've heard Charlie Hunnam is really good in it, and he's like one of those that a lot of people think is really been hit or miss in movies.
His character is probably one of my favorites out of the whole.
He in Sons of Anarchy? Was
Yes.
that what he was known for?
He has a lot of comic relief, but also he's also like right-hand man kind of vibe, so he's a very big part of it.
Yeah, Henry Golding, a lot of people were curious what his career looked like. I've heard positive things about this movie and him in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you...
If I had to give a rating on it, I want to watch this movie again because there's a lot to take in, I would say. I don't know what other movie to compare this to be honest. It's kind of on its own little level of craziness.
Have you seen Snatch?
No, I haven't.
That a lot of people, and granted, this is just a lot of people who like Guy Ritchie. That was his other film, and a lot of people say they're very similar. So like, if you like one, you'll like the other.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch that. But it kind of reminds me of a Tarantino film on just kind of like, well, that was kind of random, or this was kind of differently placed. And there's a lot stronger plot than Tarantino films, but at the same time, just I don't know. It was just a fun movie. Like I could easily rewatch that a few times and still be entertained every time. And so, if I had to give a rating on it, it probably would change if I rewatched it, either for the better or for the worse. But I think it'd be for the better because there's a lot of little things that you would kind of catch on. And this is one of those movies that if you know the ending, it's almost beneficial that you know the ending because it actually makes the beginning and the middle a little bit more richer for you. So for me, I would have to give it at least a 9. It could go 9.5 probably.
That's commonly what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I would like to rewatch it before I kind of discern that because the rewatchability factor is at least part of my rating system. So, anyways. I would highly suggest you watch it. There's enough humor in it that it's not just all seriousness. Actually, there's more humor than seriousness, I think, in part of it. And there's a lot of comic relief after a serious kind of event. So if something kind of crazy happens, then it's like instantly like something funny happens, or it's just I don't know, you're just laughing the whole time basically. But it's enough to where it's like, okay, this is kind of action, and there's a part, I won't ruin everything, but they're sent to go find this kid, which has a bunch of kids like in this playground area and stuff. They're like teenagers and they're kind of rough around the edges, and all these grown dudes or whatever are trying to chase him around and stuff. In that scene, you're just laughing the whole time. And then, well, I won't. They accidentally kill a kid, but it's not a
Okay.
That's not a huge plot. Like you don't know. Like
it just happens. It's like, oh, there's a kid now. He's dead.
It doesn't. I mean, kind of, but
that's fair. That I feel like that would happen in a Tarantino movie.
Well, yeah, but the thing is like their reactions to it is just like incredibly funny because they're like, well, F, and then I don't know. I'm gonna watch it again tonight.
You're just gonna go tonight?
Yeah, I actually probably will. I'm avoiding homework also.
If it wasn't for the Oscars, I'd strongly consider it. I might try to convince Taylor on Tuesday, because we have to see how things land. But so me and Zach are gonna move into our review, Birds of Prey. So we saw this different showings.
Mm-hmm. I went literally opening night.
I saw it opening night I saw it Friday night.
Yeah.
Which just out of curiosity, how full was your theater?
It was about 75%. And that was at the prime show for 7 p.m. at the Alamo.
We were 7 p.m. on Friday night, and there were maybe, out of a theater that seats 300, maybe 30 people.
Yeah.
It's
underselling. That's what we talked about, though.
Well, here's what blows my mind, and I'll talk about this. So, first impressions, everyone I follow loves the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll talk about it in a second. I don't agree with that. But like even at that, with like the level of hype that people were like building this up to be, I was like, okay, it'll make $50 million opening weekend, which will be considered good, and it made 33. I mean, like I'm like, even at its lowest, you would think that Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn could carry.
But I've hardly heard anything about the film.
There's
very few advertisements. There's very few even just like watching social media, you don't see anything about it.
And that's what I feel like I've seen a lot though.
I disagree. I mean, like we've been watching cable TV more and more, and I feel like I barely seen the ads.
I've hardly seen anything. I still get more Knives Out.
Right. Well, that
and some of the films that have came out like a month ago more than I've seen.
So do you think maybe marketing was hurting this film a lot?
Well, like that and Shazam. I mean, like Shazam had terrible marketing.
Mm-hmm. And well, if you're going to compare DC films, think of Suicide Squad. The advertising
was all over the place.
Everywhere.
Do you remember that huge when we were in New York?
In New York,
the huge billboard. They haven't had that for Shazam. They haven't had that for.
And Shazam carried its own, but with this being a lot of people don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey. I mentioned that to somebody yesterday, and they're like, "That sounds like a weird horror film."
Right, and so we'll talk about that. So
I think the title
is terrible.
Doesn't work. It's Birds of Prey and
Fabulous and
Emancipation of
one Harley Quinn.
And I saw one thing where it says Harley Quinn starring or something like that. And at least
I think it should have been Harley Quinn introducing the Birds of Prey or something. Or
feature
Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
The name's got to be able to because everybody's obsessed with Harley Quinn.
Right.
It's like Halloween. You see everybody dress up as Harley Quinn
Yeah.
and all that. And obviously, if that's the only thing they got going for it. I don't know hardly anything about this world. And I know comic book fans, yeah.
Well, but even them, they're still. I mean,
Yeah.
So let's put a pin in this. Let's move into talking about it itself. So I guess for full story, Birds of Prey in the comic is Batgirl, Huntress, and Black Canary. That's the origin of them. So they had Black Canary and Huntress, and they removed Batgirl, which blows my mind, and put Harley Quinn there.
Yeah.
In this version, it's mainly Harley Quinn's story, and Black Canary has a lot of screen time, but Huntress doesn't get very much.
Doesn't get a whole lot until the third act.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the performances in this movie.
I don't think anyone does bad. I will say, Ewan McGregor.
He's the best part.
Is one of the best DC villains of all time. Every scene he was on screen, I loved.
Yeah,
the movie.
I just wanted more
what's
of
his
him.
character?
He's Black Mask.
Okay.
One of the most classic Batman villains.
But I feel like he doesn't portray the Black Mask I'm familiar with to an extent.
Yeah,
It's more like an over the top, just unhinged. So they made Black Mask unhinged because he had to be crazier than Harley. So I mean, he is just bat crap crazy.
Yeah,
like he does so many random things. He does so many odd things. His mannerisms are weird.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where they're walking around his apartment and just
he's
listening to him talk. It's like, man, you're crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything, and it's like he has Victor Zsasz,
Which I like Zsasz as well. I think the villains, the main villains, are the best part of this movie.
So for clarification, if he's the villain, so is Birds of Prey in that gang, are they villains or are they heroes?
Well,
Birds of Prey,
they range from heroes to anti-heroes. I would say Black Canary is kind of a hero. Huntress is an anti-hero, and then Harley is becoming an anti-hero.
Yeah, it's really weird because in the comics, Harley Quinn kind of goes wherever the writers need her to go for the story. Most of the time now, she's more of an anti-hero because
she's
Deadpool.
They've made her Deadpool. And that's
I was gonna say this feels like a female version of Deadpool.
Right.
Watching the movie, it feels like female version of Deadpool, and it's more like Deadpool 2 than Deadpool 1.
Right.
That there's a team trying to complete an objective. I think it's fine for the most part. I feel like the pacing of the story is
I hate the pacing.
It's like
DC
we go through this
pace
part.
movies.
Well, but here's
They intentionally do it though.
Do you remember in Deadpool where they showed you him in costume and then flash back and kept doing that? They did that, but it is all over the place. And I get it because everyone's going to argue, well, Harley, at the beginning of the movie, Harley's like, this is the story. This is my story. And so she's telling it, so it's supposed to be crazy.
Yeah.
But looking at it in a film objective way,
it makes it hard to keep up.
Yeah, it's if you can't keep up, I mean, you're going to lose track of what's happening. Or there'll be scenes where it's like,
and she's like, oh wait, I forgot to tell you about this person. She'll narrate that part too, and then it'll rewind, and I'm like, okay, we're trying too hard to mimic a different style that's done it better, in my opinion. But
I feel like DC's almost had to do that to a certain extent because Marvel just.
I feel like what they needed to do, and what they've kind of done, is people were arguing, well, this is the standalone versus shared universe problems, which Aquaman, made $1 billion, and Joker, so they're the two ends of the spectrum, and then Shazam and this, which Birds of Prey is a sequel to Suicide Squad. Vaguely a sequel to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because they reference things that happened in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but this will lead into the Suicide Squad.
No, I know Jared Leto's not in this.
No. He's referenced a lot, but
he's referenced, but he.
And did they give any indication on what?
Yeah, they said something quickly in the beginning. It was she.
She was like she broke up with the Joker.
No, well, he broke up with her.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, they show her begging and
being thrown out.
Being thrown out.
The opening is really cool because it's all hand drawn animation. It's really cool. It's over the top and and that shows you everything with the Joker, all that. It gives you her flashback,
the Mad Love story basically. Yeah, that was really cool. I liked the opening a lot.
I think let's
the action in the movie I think is actually
let's
really
focus
strong.
on what the movie is. So the John Wick fight choreographers did the fight choreography for Birds of Prey. Which there are a few scenes here and there that I think do look good. I think there's, well, I won't spoil what they are, but there's three
pretty good fight scenes, I would say.
that I think are good.
Yeah.
I think there are a few things here and there I'm like, and the movie is completely over the top. It is zany. And
it's crazy. I almost felt like I was watching an episode of Batman the Animated Series at times.
people have said this, and I agree with this. It's the most comic booky movie
that DC has done.
That maybe anybody has done. Because it genuinely feels like you're reading a comic book.
I could see the argument.
Super weird. I mean, like, granted, I felt that with Infinity War, where I felt like I was turning the pages of a comic book. But, like, this one, I do genuinely feel like
this one is more
suspension
zany, corny sometimes,
that you have to give.
It's like, why would this person align themselves with this person?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. They're on the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of, like, who we are as people.
Right, and there's a lot of stuff like that where it's like, I think the movie is unique in the way of like how it approaches everything, and I don't think it's bad per se. And I think Ewan McGregor is worth the ticket price. Yeah. Somebody messaged me the other night, and they were like, "Hey, I want to see this." They're like, "Would you recommend it?" And I was like, I don't know if I could. They're like, "Well, I'm getting A-list," and I was like, "Well, if you have A-list or Alamo Season Pass or Regal Unlimited, any of their services, I think it's worth it. Then I think if you're not paying." It was just one of your movies.
See, I felt like it was worth paying for the actual ticket itself.
See, I don't feel that.
Really?
I don't feel... But I guess we're getting in that age where this is now becoming the real question of where would I rank something on, like, with the new subscription models?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's worth... I mean, granted, on a Tuesday, $5, whatever, but anything over $10, I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
So, overall, I'll say I think Mary Elizabeth Winston, I think that's her name, does really good as actress. I think Ewan McGregor does great as Black Mass, the actor for Zaz, does really good.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, of course, is Harley Quinn. I just don't like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn is a character that I think you either really like what they're doing with her or you don't. Like, because the beginning, almost like 20 years, is just her basically being abused by the Joker constantly.
Yeah. And
that's uncomfortable to read. And now it's like, we're just trying to make her our version of Deadpool, essentially. So it's like, it feels kind of like...
It feels like a cheaper Deadpool movie, which isn't an insult, but it's more like you could tell they're like, hey, this is a big risk, so they lowered the budget, and you just feel that.
I'm glad that they decided to go with an R rating for this movie.
Yeah, but I feel like it's unnecessary. And I feel like that's part of the problem.
I think the reason it's R is mostly for the language, and that's about it.
I think for the gore. I really didn't even notice so much language.
There is a bit of gore, especially at the end.
Well, I mean, like just throughout it, there's a lot of gore. Like,
there was a lot of F words.
But I bet not enough that really, like...
no.
You could justify cutting them for an R rating.
I guess you could cut them and get it down to PG-13, minus the one thing at the very end.
Yeah, but I mean, you're allowed one. But okay, so let's move on.
Anyway,
Black Canary's actress, I think she's really good.
Yeah, and I thought she did really well.
The only two I didn't really care for is the cop. I don't like her dialogue. It's really just...
It's very generic 80s cop, and they keep making that joke.
Yeah, and then the kid.
The kid was not great, but she wasn't bad.
So actress-wise, I think she's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Plot-wise, I know less about her at the end than I did at the beginning. And that's a bad thing. You don't know why or how she's an orphan.
That's true.
You don't know why any of that. You don't have any answers closer. You just know, okay, she looks up to Harley and now she's with Harley. There's no A to B. It's just a draw.
That's actually true.
It's a straight line of A. You're just following that A line.
I didn't even think about that.
I was watching. I didn't think about it either, but Cosmonaut did his quickie on it.
Yeah.
And he said that, and I was like, wow, that's a really good point. I agree. The movie is fun. Like, overall, it's a fun movie.
Time, but now hearing that, I'm like, oh my god, you're right.
We watched it.
You know less about her as a character, and she's the MacGuffin almost of this movie.
But we had some friends who went with, and it was pretty... one person completely hated it. Most of us agreed it was fine. It's a meh movie. At its best, it's good. Not great, good. At its worst, it's meh. And so that's my problem. I wouldn't say there's no great moments. Even Ewan McGregor gets brought down.
Yeah.
Because he's the best part of this movie. And his he can't even save this movie for what it is.
Yeah.
But so let's just score. And there is no after credit scene. I know that you didn't get to stay. There's stuff
there
happening. There's
Harley, she says something about Batman.
She says something, but it's not worth staying for.
Yeah, like she gets cut off or something is what I read. Anyway, out of 10, probably 6.5 or a 7.
See, I landed a 6. I think it's good. I don't think 6 is... my score, 6 is
6
far
is
like,
fair.
Is good. I think it's good. Yeah. So I think 6 is... It's fine. We live in a day and age where I wish this was a little bit different, and I wish this was just tweaked in some different ways that I could enjoy more.
I think if the editing was a bit better, it would probably be higher on my list for me.
Yeah.
Because that made it more difficult.
Yeah, I wish it was more... And granted, I'm feeling... So this is now... I'm removing myself from... Because I have a rule to review what we got, not what I wish we got.
Yeah.
So, like, I accept what we have, and then, you know, I can always say this is what I would want, but I don't let it change my score.
Yeah.
And so, like, I wish it was Batgirl and the Birds of Prey trying to do something and Harley just being there and just kind of getting in their way, and over time Harley learning to have a heart of gold or, like, turning from her villain ways.
Yeah.
But it's not, and so, like, that's, granted, it's here or there, but... Or just calling this Harley Quinn and then featuring the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
I feel like
their titles in DC have just not been that great.
It's whatever. But so that's what end on Birds of Prey. I mean, I think it's fine if you have a subscription to any of them. I recommend them if you have any interest. But if you don't, for me at least, I wouldn't recommend paying to see it. So, Fast 9.
Wait, I saw The Irishman.
Oh
this past week. And that is 3.5 hours that I'm actually really glad I took the time to sit down and watch it all in one sitting. I don't know if I could have watched that movie broken up because there are so many important plot details happening in like every scene that moved to the next one.
Is it all set up into one film? I've seen it on the thing, but I just haven't
so basically
clicked on it.
It's about the life of Frank, who is De Niro's character, and it's about how he gets involved in a crime family, which is Joe Pesci's character, and he ends up meeting Jimmy Hoffa, who's Al Pacino's character. And back in like 1976, Jimmy Hoffa went missing, and nobody could ever find him. And Jimmy Hoffa is like this big like union guy that like was one of the most popular people next to like the president. Like everybody knew who he was, and like he was connected to crime and stuff, and it's about that. And I think that the movie does feel a little long at parts, but I feel like it's really rewarding because the performances are just all so good. Like nobody feels wasted in this movie, even minor characters in the film. I'm just like, this is really leading to something. And then like De Niro's character, like you can almost see that like he's trying to decide what he should do like all throughout the movie, because eventually the mafia members start fighting with Jimmy Hoffa, and it's like, well, he's caught in the middle because they both love and respect him, and like it's crazy like the actual like process that went through telling this story, because it's based on a true story, or at least the account of the main character before he died. Like he just spilled all the beans about like being involved in this crime family, and it was based on a book. And had I known that, I probably would have put Irishman for Best Adapted Screenplay, because the book is actually really good. And I thought that like the last, probably even more than the last hour is really good. Like to the point where I'm like, you need to watch this. Like it's super rewarding. Like I felt. But I understand why people are like, this is a 3.5 hour movie. I don't know if I have the time for this to sit down and watch it.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Splitting it in half, I think, is going to confuse you more than anything, because I don't think there's a good cutoff point in the second act for you to be like, this is where I would stop and then watch the rest of it later. For me, anyway.
But if it keeps you engaged, I guess, the whole time.
I was engaged the entire time.
See, my thing with it is I was engaged for the first act, and then the second act, I was just like, no. And somewhere, I can't remember where, I had to like think about it during the second act, I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah. I think once you get to the point where Hoffa gets out of prison till the end is just so good. I'm like, okay, this is really good because now he's trying to come back and get everything back that was taken from him because he had connections to this crime family, and they're just not having it. And they're like, you're not as untouchable as you think you are. You need to back off. And he's just not. And I'm like, the tense scenes between Pacino, Pesci, and De Niro, I'm like, this definitely feels like it belongs up there with some of Scorsese's best work. If I had to give it a ranking, I'd probably give it a 9. I recommend watching it in one sitting. I know that that's probably difficult because that's a lot of time to block out for one movie. Especially when the plot is so crucial and like all the dialogue all like matters and stuff. Like you really have like I want to just like go back and just dissect that movie and like really look into it, but like that would take even longer, and I'm like I don't have the time for that necessarily. But like if you're confused, like there's stuff all over the internet explaining why characters do what they do in the movie, and I'm like, this is all really smart. Like, this is probably one of his best movies that he's done, in my opinion.
I don't a lot of mixed things. And people I've talked to in person really like it. A lot of people I follow are just like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Which I'm like, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. Oh, I know a lot of people are like, they feel like The Irishman is not the movie he should have gotten all this nomination for.
It's very slow.
So I don't know if it's just,
that.
I don't know if they're just the hatred towards that, like, kind of like DiCaprio. I know a lot of people thought that he shouldn't have won for Revenant, that he should have won for Django.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if the hatred just comes from like
that. He should have won on a lot of things.
He should have won for The Departed, if we're being completely honest, but that didn't happen either, which was also a Scorsese film.
Or Wolf of Wall Street.
Anyway, now that I've talked about Irishman, because otherwise I would feel really bad, because I know that it's probably winning some stuff tonight. Now that I've seen it, I'm like, I could see it winning some things. And I'm just like,
I don't know. I will be surprised.
Do I think it wins the most? No, absolutely not. But I could see it winning 1 or 2.
I think, and I say this not just because I didn't like the movie. I'm saying this from like my betting standards, especially with how I bet on our Oscar predictions. I will be genuinely surprised if The Irishman walks away with a decent amount of awards. Anything more than 1.
Really?
Because
I would cap it at 2.
Just because I feel like, and this is the nice way of saying this, I feel like it only got a bunch of the Oscar nominations that's getting compared to everything else because it's Scorsese.
I mean, that's fair.
And so, like, I think it's the same thing with, like, Williams getting the nod. I feel like I like Star Wars, and I love the score of Star Wars, but it's not, that is not the score I would put on
It's more just so that he can be up there for the final time for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's move into Fast 9.
Yeah.
Because we are decently... We all decently enjoy the Fast and Furious franchise.
I've seen all of them.
I mean, I've seen all of them. I saw 7 on in theaters, but I definitely went and saw the first one in theaters because everyone was into the first Fast and Furious movie when it came out.
When it came out, it was a big deal. Like, all the stuff on, like, street racing and stuff, like, people were like, this is pretty dope. Like, I want to watch this.
And then I've seen 2 Fast and Furious on a godly amount of times because my cousin loves it, and I hate that movie. Hate 2 Fast, 2 Furious.
It's not the worst one in the series for me, but it's the second worst. For me, Tokyo Drift is
I think Tokyo Drift is far better than 2 Fast and Furious.
I disagree. Anyway, the trailer.
But, hold on, you've been silent, and you're...
Tokyo Drift is a lot better than 2 Fast.
You're a resident Fast and Furious guy.
Yeah. So, plot twist, Han comes back, which has been rumored for the past 2.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I feel so stupid. I didn't know Justin Lin was doing this one.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And like, people on the internet were freaking out. Dude.
Yeah, which this has been rumored.
Yeah,
For last couple movies that they may try to tease him because he's just too strong a character and everybody liked him. And and everything's so ridiculous now. It's like, why not bring the dude back to life or whatever stupid thing they write off, or if maybe he's not actually alive and maybe he's a robot or whatever we've talked about. So, I don't like them bringing him back, to be honest. But at the same time, and it looks like, we were just talking before we started the show that he could become a villain, or he could be a villain. And if I don't want that, because we just got over the whole Vin Diesel being the
Yeah.
villain thing. It's like, okay, guys. And then
Hopefully
you
they
get
say
this,
that for part 10.
Yeah, and I get that almost every Fast movie now is just a reiteration of the last movie, and it's just enough to just one up the other one with stupid scenes and action scenes. And I mean, we've said
Cars
this.
heist, my family.
We've seen this so many times that, like, we just and we've said this so many times. We just have to shut our brains off and just admire it. The whole Han thing, bringing him back after that epic death and all of that, and it's like, I mean, honestly, that's the only true player of sacrifice that they've made of death, like
On purpose.
On purpose within the story. So
Yeah.
I think my thoughts going in is that they have talked about how Fast 10 might be 2 parts, and I'm wondering, and a fan theory was that
It's
Fast
the
10
Civil
Part
War.
1 is going to be like the Fast and Furious Civil War, where the Hobbs and Shaw movie crosses over into it, because, and granted, this isn't if Han's a cyborg, if he just lived.
yeah,
That Han would be mad that they let Jason Statham stay and join the family after everything, and so it would be like The Rock and all them versus the current Fast and Furious family, and then kind of like battling it out until they learn of like the bigger threat from Hobbs and Shaw. I can't remember what the organization's called.
Cypher.
Is Cypher from Hobbs and Shaw?
I thought they were from 8 and Hobbs and Shaw.
I couldn't
But
remember.
who really cares?
But like the villain of for sure Hobbs and Shaw.
yeah.
I just want them all to go to space and fight the evil team on the moon.
Honestly, I actually liked Hobbs. and
Oh,
Shaw.
I did too. I liked Hobbs and Shaw more than 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw was fun. Like, it
But
got deep on
Now,
Hobbs and Shaw at the end.
let's mention one other thing. The Rock isn't in this movie.
No.
And he's not supposedly in it at all.
Yeah, that's
or
what they
any
said.
reference.
That was mostly because of the beef between him and like the entire cast.
That's
apparently.
kind of that's the whole rumor, and you can listen to hours and hours about it. No one really probably knows, to be honest, except that they know they don't get along. But I don't know if it's even that, because he just got off the Hobbs and Shaw movie, and I don't know what his schedule is just like right
Well,
I think from what I understand is that Hobbs and Shaw takes place at the same time as 9.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I've heard that was part of the reason. I mean, if we're being truly honest, The Rock does so much work that I think it'd be, if you said his scheduling was an issue, I think that's such bull. Of like, I mean, he did 4 movies. He was filming 4 movies at the same time.
Yeah.
Dude's
Well,
crazy.
and if that's the case, then maybe they're just kind of giving a relief of like,
Yeah.
okay, let's get Shaw and Hobbs out of the storyline.
Give them a
and
bit
let's-
of a break.
And let's bring Han back in, and let's go back to the old times, you know?
Right. Well, you
try
have to now find a natural flow to get them back in after Hobbs and Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is everything's so overwhelming every
Yeah.
movie that it's just like, okay, I mean, eventually everybody just kind of if you just keep on and keep on and keep on doing it. I mean, people don't really care, and that's kind of where we're at, which is sad for a movie franchise. And it's like, are they embracing it? Because I feel like the writers actually feel like they're developing an actual true story that actually tells.
Well, I feel like it's family, and I feel like that's their like their
Really?
view of it.
It's
I mean,
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the
Yeah.
opening shots where it plays the. See
I've
you
never
again.
heard family mentioned.
More than in that.
Take a
movie
shot
series.
every time you hear the word family.
Oh, you wouldn't make it after the first 10 minutes. I'd just be dead.
But I think I'm curious about the movie.
We haven't
I
talked
really
about
only
the
want to
movie.
talk about it. What?
John Cena is
Dom's brother.
Dom's brother.
That is the dumbest. The dumbest.
I
And you know.
hate that they revealed that in the trailer.
You
Like-
know, and it's like.
If
It's
they
like,
were gonna
why?
do that, they should have gotten
And-
Dave Batista, because Batista actually kind of looks
kinda
like
looks-
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, like they actually have resemblance. John Cena doesn't even look like him hardly.
I know. Like
And
watching
honestly-
The Rock looks more like him. Like
Yeah.
Is that because he's bald? Maybe.
I
But
know
at the same
it's
time,
just
It's
one of
just
those things.
it's
when they-
kind of goofy. And then it's like,
The
okay,
joke,
so
I
you
hate
replace
the
The Rock.
"you can't see me" joke, because
So,
it's just
I like.
he's
you-
been there
you-
the whole time, but we couldn't.
You
see
have
it.
this whole family thing all over
Yeah.
again, and I get it. We just talked about family, but it's like everybody has these siblings like that are
just appearing.
just appear. Yeah, and it's just like
They've never been mentioned.
and-
They've never been
well,
important.
and, yeah. And John Cena's like, okay, it's
He's just
this
coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and we just got done with the whole Shaw thing. and
Yeah,
it's
because
just
Shaw apparently has a sister that we've never seen. Like, we knew he had
Yeah.
a mom,
Yeah.
and we knew he had a brother, but the sister was never
And
mentioned.
what
in
I like about
anything.
his whole thing, and I'm being sarcastic when I say this, is that he has this whole family that just comes out and about. He's not even a main character in the whole like storyline, but his whole family comes into this thing, and then it becomes about his whole
Yeah.
family, not. and it's like they almost give them like a side problem to deal with because they're running out of ideas for Van Diesel in the game, and then they have to turn Van Diesel against his game just to
continue the story.
milk it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. In the other before you go, I'm curious if since there's only two, it's this movie and then 10, and then they're done.
Maybe 11. It depends on the rumor. Vin Diesel said, and him and Justin Lin are the like control of the franchise. So if they're doing 2 parts for 10, and he says it,
I bet everybody signs on for it because after the movies are done, most of them don't have a paycheck.
Yeah,
what is Tyrese gonna do?
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He's mad that The Rock has all these movies, but he could get parts. I guarantee people would sign him up because
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a recognizable name because of the Fast and Furious franchise.
But
yeah, he literally just has a goofy car and he just does his own thing, and then they just make fun of him.
I wish I had recorded my reaction because I did it. I just kind of watched the trailer on a whim. I was like, oh yeah, it's out, and I went from. And this sounds so stupid. I went from when they revealed Dom's brother, I was like, this is the stupidest thing. And when Han Kazak like, oh my gosh, they brought Han back. I was like, I can't wait to see what they do with
Also,
this.
My reaction was just dead face the whole time. I didn't even react to it.
I just kept looking and I was like, what the F are you all doing now?
Well,
like when the bridge falls out and the cars are driving across.
That's what's funny. I was so like,
I started laughing.
throughout all of it until it says F9, and then Han Kazak, I was just sitting there like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And I was worried when they showed the shot afterwards. I was like, they're gonna bring back Paul Walker's character because there's been rumors.
Yeah, I've heard
I was like, it's gonna be Brian. I was like, no. And then when Han walks out, I like had the stupidest grin on my face, and I was like, man, these movies are trash, straight up, and they now are trash. But I have so much fun.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call this before even 9 comes out. And my hunch is the very end of 9. Paul Walker gets his little character brought back up, and they may actually flip it to death, and that's their whole. The 10 is revenge for Paul Walker, and they do that just to, and Han's still part of the game. If he's a robot now or whatever the crap he is now, they turn him for the good side, and they get him on the team, and the whole squad comes together for Paul Walker's character because their family got kidnapped or
I think
something stupid.
I think this movie
that concludes
will end with Han betraying them in some way if he is a cyborg. Which sounds so stupid. If he is a cyborg, it's gonna end with him.
He's Asian
betraying
Superman.
the team. And then, like, not our 10 will be them getting him back.
Well, I just like it because every character has, like, incredible strength.
Oh my gosh, when they catch the car in the trailer, that's another one of those moments where I'm like, well, when we
John Cena, I believe, could actually catch a car.
When we were sitting in the theater and that trailer played before Birds of Prey, and he caught the car, I hear so many people go, oh. And I'm like, oh, here we are. This is like when the Transformer trailers play and everyone's like, let it end. But I mean, like,
listen,
I only really want to bring this up because the internet was on fire when Han was revealed. And, like, I genuinely like Han as a character.
Yeah, Han's
whatever
one of
they
my
do,
favorites.
I'm actually kind of curious about. But I think this is how they get me because I hated, well, I didn't hate Fast 8. It's my least favorite of the new set of them. Like, after they've taken the ridiculous turn.
From, like, 5 on.
5, like, 1...
Actually,
1 through 3 are their own kind of thing. 4 is like that middle ground between.
And 4 is its own little.
And then 5 on are the heist, over the top movies. And this is my least favorite. Sorry, 8 was my least favorite of the new ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so like
they need like a 1.2 to 3. I guarantee you, Fast 10 or whatever it's gonna be called. I guarantee you it'll be like a 1.3, 1.4 billion dollars.
Maybe
they're gonna throw Paul Walker's name in it. I just know they are.
His brother will probably be the character.
What's the point? I mean, if it's their last movie, and obviously it's already crap anyways, I mean, might as well just throw Paul Walker.
Well, I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what Fast 9 does. For multiple reasons. Because if you look at the numbers of Fast 8 domestically, they're not good. They're not good.
Yeah, because everybody's tired of this.
But
internationally they do well. I mean,
they don't have that many movies that are just garbage that are just crazy.
But so I'm curious. We'll see how Fast 9 does. I wonder if Han like saves them. Like really, if he really like the reveal of him, like
they just kill him again.
Or Han at the very end reveals that hey, Paul Walker's in trouble and that's why I'm back.
I've been sitting back. I've come back from beyond the grave to warn you about Brian.
And then he just dies.
And they're like,
fades.
They're like, wait, is it Kid Brian or Adult Brian?
They're both gone
Which
now.
there's a lot of theories that his son, Vin's son, dies in the movie because there's several shots.
Dude, if that
they
kid
kill the
dies
kid-
after the whole last kid,
Yeah, after part
or
8.
the mom or whatever.
I'll
It's just
actually
they
Because
just kill off
in
everybody.
the poster, well, okay, so now granted, it could be the end of the movie when
Yeah.
that scene's happening, him working on everything.
Mhm.
But in the poster, it's got him with the necklace in his car,
Yeah.
and then there's several shots in the movie where he's holding the necklace later on. So everyone thinks, I'm digging.
What if the necklace actually gives him superpowers, and that's why?
Brian, the little Brian comes
Yeah.
in, and he's
Yeah.
just like
And
super
he just
buff,
wears it.
and he's just like throwing
Little Brian
cars.
just punches John Cena in the face and just hits him with the attitude adjustment through a car, and you just hear John Cena's theme song just blaring.
What if Han
Just make it
and
ridiculous.
John Cena are both good guys, and Paul Walker actually comes back as a robot,
And
as
he's
a bad
the
guy.
villain.
He's the villain, and they all get misled
Man.
that Paul Walker's their friend. But
Man, can you even imagine the controversy?
I just
That-
want them,
Even as a trash movie,
Dude, I feel.
I just want them to go to space. That's all I want. I want muscle cars
They
all
did
the
make a
way.
reference that they were space was next.
Yeah, Tyrese Gibson or something.
After the trailer premiered that concert, which freaking who throws a concert for a trailer premiere?
I don't know.
They
When
do
they're
because
like-
it's different and
What?
people care.
I just wanna have eyes in the writers' room when they start talking about like, what's the next movie? And then
Something tells me they all are just like,
They-
what are the chances that we could just
they-
fling this
I
car
think-
across this cliff?
I think they have 6 writers, and they're all assigned to give a ridiculous plot, and then they write it each one on the board, a whiteboard, and they're all in the conference room, and then they take a dice
and they just
and they
roll
just
it.
roll it, and then they roll it 3 times, and
And
they
what
have
do
to
they-
merge those top 3 plots into one.
I wouldn't be surprised if it, like, and I say this like being very realistic, if they are, hey, you each come up with a big action set piece, think about what that is, and then you over there, you're going to write a story around those big
I
action
would not
set
be
pieces.
shocked. Like
And whoever
like
gets in
how
charge
in
of
the
that is just
trailer-
like, F my life.
Yeah.
how in the trailer, like Dom has his car, like the wheel attaches to the rope of the bridge or whatever, and he just jumps the cliff. And I'm like,
Dude,
we know he's gonna make it. It's Dom.
Well, yeah,
Like,
they just die right
yeah.
there.
If he died,
Da-da-da-da-da.
look, if they
If he didn't die from that freaking
car accident in 7.
yeah, when he jumps to take out the helicopter,
Or, you know, when they fly through like 3 buildings at like 100.
also in 7, so.
Yeah.
7 was
Or
probably
in
the most-
6 when the plane crashes and he just like drives through the crash.
I can't wait till this franchise is done so we can go over our top 10 stupidest moments.
You mean top 10 most death-defying stunts, like when Dom is launched from the car and he catches Letty and he hits the windshield in 6, or the flying headbutt that takes out 2 men.
So let's
Oh,
end.
that's
Let's end the Fast and Furious talk because
that's
nobody
easy.
wants to listen to this much Fast and Furious.
Oh,
talk.
everybody does.
So I want to talk about something kind of with both of you and with you because, well, I'll talk about something else later. But Tim.
Okay.
So I want to use this time to beg people to play Tim if you have a PC. It is
I'll be there soon.
it is an adult Pokemon game.
And this is sponsored by Tim.
I wish it was sponsored. I'll hit them up later. It is if you have played Pokemon and you've been like, man, I want a challenge. I want something to quench that thirst of something that's like you've grown up with and that's grown up with you. Tim is that. Like the first gym is stupid hard. And like it is a game about type advantages. It does not you cannot just over level your starter. Even if you do that, you will get screwed over. It's not like, hey, my Charizard's level 100, I'm fighting everything and killing everything. It's
Well, that's just boring.
but the game's in early access. It feels like an early access game. They said it'd probably finish up in 2021.
Yeah.
But I just want to take this minute, if you have a PC, to strongly consider playing it. And if you did it, hit up Nothing Coherent on Twitter and let us know why you to the clan. We're trying to get a clan together so we can take over dojos or gyms.
So I watched you play the other day, and the sense of humor in that game is actually really good. Like, there's so many good jokes, like, in the dialogue.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
the breeding. There's
the daycare, and he's like,
it's teaching you about like the breeding mechanics
Mhm.
of like, I mean, you have to put a male and female, and they're like, if you put 2 males or 2 females, they'll have fun, but nothing will happen. And it's like,
I was like,
oh.
they actually said that. was like, this is actually really funny, but also like really just clever writing.
Yeah.
It's a more grown-up Pokemon. That's basically what this is. And I watched you play for like 2 hours, and I was immediately hooked. I was like, I've got to get this game.
It is a huge world. It's MMO-like.
Yeah.
The playing together, it doesn't really work too great yet. We've tried co-op, and it's crashed. The game for one of our friends has crashed a bunch.
Yeah.
It's crashed for me once. It's very much a mixed bag, and I strongly recommend it. Like if you've thought, man, I really like Pokemon, but I've wanted something to go next.
Yeah, and we've said that on this podcast a lot.
I mean, I love Pokemon Sword. I thought it was a great game.
I think it's fun, but it was easy.
Pokemon is for kids, and so I think this is like the side. And this is eventually, they said, hopefully in 2022, which I realize is a long way out. They said they hope to have it on a console release, so like Switch and PS5 or Switch 2.
Yeah.
But really with that, this is kind of our last couple minutes. If anybody wants to share, just something else you've watched or played or something you've wanted. Oh, I do want to talk about one last thing. It's the Super Bowl TV spot for Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That not the Black Widow. I don't care about that.
WandaVision.
The WandaVision, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and showing a quick clip of Loki.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I thought they would be good, but I don't know what it was about just those clips. I was super excited for all of them, especially WandaVision looks super weird.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for them to take
I'm the most
risk.
interested in.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that that's going to lead into Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, how do we do this? Like, are there different multiverses that they're showing us in that TV spot? Like, people are.
Well, I think it is. I think somebody said we were talking. There's 6.
Yeah.
Which would line up with the 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So that each episode will be a different part of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Loki is captured by the Time. It starts with a V. It's Time something agency or authority.
Yeah.
And so Loki's probably him retelling his events.
Mm-hmm.
And Falcon and Winter Soldier just looks like Captain America 4, like what I would have wanted from Cap 4.
Yeah.
But I was just impressed.
Also, Sam looks really good.
Oh yeah, the scene where he's throwing the shield.
Yeah. I'm like, he gonna get it.
So I have 2 other things we'll talk about, but I want to let you guys, if you have anything you want to talk about, to take this opportunity to do that.
Not that I can think of.
Binge watched all 3 Back to the Futures 2 days ago.
Hey man,
we were talking about that.
Yeah, we literally talked about it last night.
One of our friends is playing the theme song to it, and I was like, I really like Back to the Future.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I actually watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off before, and then Hulu automatically started Back
just
to the
80s
Future.
kick, man.
Yeah, and I hadn't watched the second or third Back to the Futures in a while, and I forgot how good the second one actually
I
is.
love the second one.
And it's so good, because, just how they're so intertwined with the whole everything, and I thought it was really good. Third one,
I think the third one for what it is, it's fine.
It's just different.
But I don't think it's bad. I think it's whatever. I would rather have that than a bad movie that ruins the Back to the Future name, where you're always like, the first 2 are good, but don't watch the third one. Like, I think the third one's watchable.
Third one's good. It's definitely, to me, the weakest of the 3.
Right. There are some people that like the third one the most. So, like, I'm glad that we live in that timeline.
I've never heard anybody saying the third one.
I follow a few people that like the third one the most. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane is going to have a play to talk about the third one's his favorite. Yeah. Which isn't saying much. I don't really like Seth MacFarlane, but
I like that in his movie A Million Ways to Die in the West. Doc Brown has the DeLorean, and I'm like, that's pretty good.
So then the last 2 things I'll talk about something real quick. I'm really worried about the One Piece Netflix series.
Oh yeah, I made a post on that on my Piccolo page. I was like, this seems like one of the few anime that I'm like, why would you do this?
It's because it's the most successful. I mean, even comic book wise, it's outsold Batman.
Yeah.
Which Batman was the most selling comic book. It overtook that.
Yeah.
So like, it is the most popular entertainment in Japan. So it makes sense to try to get that popular.
Now, on one hand, I do get it because I asked some people. I remember we watched the Full Metal Alchemist Netflix thing. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it was whatever.
Bleach that they did, a lot of people said was okay. Death Note was terrible.
But they didn't do Bleach or FMA. Those were Warner Brothers Japan.
Warner Brothers Japan, right.
They did Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
But
Netflix is doing One Piece, and that's the difference that I think people don't get.
Well, here's my train of thought. As somebody who's watched all of it and keeps up with it weekly, I love the series. It's my favorite piece of entertainment over everything else. It is not perfect. For me, there are 2 trains of thoughts I have on this. On my first train, it's that I think with Oda on board, if he has final say in everything, there's a chance it could be at least good.
Yeah.
But I think, good or bad, he got to do his vision, and I'm okay with that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with if this can boost the popularity of One Piece in North America like it deserves. Because it should be talked on the same level that people talk about Fullmetal Alchemist, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto.
Yeah.
It is considered one of the big three, but it's probably the least popular of the big three.
I'd agree with that because I only just started watching One Piece.
But I think this has granted, bad taste in people's mouth, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that even if 1 out of 10 people started watching the series out of just curiosity from seeing the live action,
Right, being like, well, what was the source material?
yeah, then I would be more okay with it.
Yeah.
But granted, if it's bad, it's bad, and I've just come to terms that you know
Yeah.
that's probably going to happen. I knew one day we'd get a live action adaptation
Yeah.
but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. I mean, we'll probably not see it till 2022. I imagine there's no way it's.
Yeah, it's
Coming
going to take
soon.
some time.
But I wanted to end on one last piece that we need to talk about. And maybe it doesn't happen, maybe it does. But Sam Raimi taking over Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness.
I love this idea. I hope that it's true. Sam Raimi, if they are still trying to go the horror route, he's like the perfect choice to me.
Yeah.
Like, the man's done Evil Dead. Like,
Yeah.
he can make things really weird and creepy and mysterious. And also, he's done superhero movies. He did the original Spider-Man trilogy. And that's just one step closer to my theory that Sony is like, we're doing a Spider-Verse movie.
Well,
And I'm
right.
like,
So this is.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
No, you start. Because
Well, I was reading the other day that the whole Spider-Verse, or the tease, I saw a teaser thing. It's not official, but they said it was like a leak of like a cross-platform deal with the Spider-Verse, but like a live deal.
Well, 'cause,
So-
like, that was my big speculation back when
And a lot of people
Sony-
said it, but
when
like,
Sony originally took Spider-Man out of the MCU. I was like, well, the best we're going to get is a Spider-Verse movie. But I'm like, I would not be surprised if Tobey Maguire was like, hey, I'll come back and do a 4th one if Sam Raimi is involved, because that was his big thing about backing out of the 4th one
that's
originally.
such a big gap of time for Tobey Maguire.
So there's
Right.
there's a rumor, and take this all with
15
grains of
years.
salt,
Yeah.
that in Morbius, that's set in the Tobey Maguire
Right,
universe.
I was going to say, because in the trailer for that, they show the Sam Raimi suit Spider-Man from the PS4 game on
Which
the
will-
poster. And I'm like, what is happening?
But so there's like rumors of that. There's rumors of that's not. It is in the Tom Holland verse because I mean it's got Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Yeah.
But there's strong rumors that Multiverse of Madness is gonna like Morbius is gonna tie into that with maybe Tom or Tobey Maguire coming to help deal with that, like him opening portals. I don't know, and I feel like a lot of people are reaching for that when they talk about that. Now,
Yeah.
granted, who knows?
I think
it
it's
would
at
be-
the very least been discussed between the two companies.
I
in
think it will
order
be.
to-
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility anymore.
No.
But I won't. I'll be genuinely surprised if that becomes the case.
Once they start talking more officially to where we see things, then we can get more excited. But I'm just like, the idea that they want Sam Raimi specifically sparks my interest even more. Because I'm like, Sony was clearly ready to just take back Spider-Man as an IP for themselves. And now all of a sudden they're like, no, we'll work something out with Marvel. And I'm like, I could see them doing something and being like, hey, you bring our stuff into the MCU and you can have Spider-Man as long as you want.
Yeah. Last other thing, and we'll end. Hamilton Broadway plays.
Yeah.
Put in theaters. Blew my mind. Super excited.
Yeah.
This probably means
Disney is like,
This probably and most likely means that Disney will have the official rights to a film of Hamilton. That's most of the time what happens. Is what happened with Newsies. Is they acquired the Broadway play rights, which
Yep.
they've acquired the movie version rights, which will come out in October 2021. And so I think maybe by 2023, 2024, you'll see a live action Hamilton.
yeah. And I'm very excited for that because I love Hamilton.
Yeah, I think if In the Heights does really well, I won't be surprised if the Hamilton movie gets like
Pushed
straight
up.
in development, like if before they do the release. But if In the Heights is kind of like hit or miss, and then the Hamilton movie does well, I think we'll see. I'm really curious on that, but
I'm fairly certain that movie's going to do well.
which one?
The Hamilton movie.
I think you'll do. Orphan son of a whore and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean.
Anyway, we have one more thing we have to talk about today.
Oh man, we'll just keep doing this.
We have Cats.
Oh my gosh, I already forgot about Cats.
Oh, let's just forget
I was
about
hoping you were going to tell me Nintendo Direct was announced because I'm just waiting. So yeah, I hate you so much.
So what did everybody think about Cats, guys?
Well,
This noise right here haunts my nightmares still.
I want to talk about my experience with Cats.
I had a drunk man next to me at Cats, and I was told 3 times to be quiet at the Alamo, not him, because he was making me laugh so much.
Ooh.
It was... Anyway.
Well, in my theater experience, it was me and a family, and that was it.
Let's preference. They've started doing rowdy screenings, which have gotten a huge amount of attention.
Yeah.
None of us attended a rowdy screening.
No.
None of us got to vocally make fun of the movie, sing along, do any of that, which is what's popular.
I still made fun of the movie. I didn't care. I was like, go ahead and throw me out, Alamo. I will fight tooth and nail on this one. Like,
the waiter came in.
My waiter?
He came in and he was like, "Is it just you?" And I said, "Unfortunately, it is just me. Yeah, I lost a bet and I have to go see it."
Yep.
And I went in and he asked me, he's like, "Are you getting something to drink?" And I said, "Do I need to get something to drink?" And he goes, "Well, I'll be honest. There's no amount of drinks that you can have to help you forget whatever you're about to experience." And so I'm going through this, and I have to say, I was like falling asleep midway through it.
Nope.
And I was trying to make myself fall asleep almost because I was not going to walk out because I was going to lose the bet on top of the bet.
I was mesmerized by the performances of Idris Elba in his cat form. So I was so horrified.
That had been one of the worst things I've ever experienced.
I saw this movie not losing the bet. I just genuinely like Broadway plays, so I was like, I'm going to see it. And let me tell you, me and my in-laws went, and we took one of our friends, and me and a friend, separate times, went and left the theater, pulled a Hellboy, where I just went and sat. I went to the bathroom and just sat out in the lobby, and I was like, man, I do not want to go back in there.
Okay.
And, the movie is less than 2 hours. It
felt
like 4 hours.
Yeah, it feels like 4 hours.
And it kept going at the end when she keeps telling you to take care of your cats. I'm like, shut up! I want to just murder.
Let me leave. Let me leave.
I called Brandon after I sat in my car and I was just freaking out because that lasted forever.
I thought that I was stuck in a time vortex or something.
I will say
I felt like that movie was sucking parts of my soul out because by the end I'm just like so done like with everything in life.
So let's
talk
talk
into
about
that movie mad.
The positives.
What positives?
Memories is not bad, and neither
the
is
song. The songs are not terrible.
Well, let's calm down on
the
something.
Taylor Swift song. Is
not. Hold on. Do you mean the one she wrote or the one she performed?
The one she wrote.
So she wrote the new song in the movie.
The one that's like all that I wanted was to be wanted. Was that the one?
The one where the new Victoria's character sings it when she sees.
I can't remember.
Jennifer Hudson's character run away.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. But that song I thought was okay. I'm being very light. That song was okay, and Memories was okay.
And when you say okay, I'm talking about like a 4 out of 10 instead of a 1 out of 10.
Well, the movie itself is still a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Like, it might be a 0.5, 0.25. But
highlights from the motion picture.
Ugh. Anyway,
Beautiful Ghost.
I'm trying to think.
This one.
Yeah, that one. If you dare to. Yeah, that song. I thought that song was actually not bad.
So also, we all saw the version because Alamo had decided they were not going to update it.
Yeah, so playing into that, they also played the old Sonic the Hedgehog trailer for me before they fixed it. So I was just like, what have I gotten myself into? My server comes up to me at the Alamo, and he's like, why are you here? And I was like, I lost a bet. And he was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're with that guy.
It's the same. We had the same waiter. Just like, what is going on with these beds?
Did, actually, to be honest.
They tortured him. He's
been in there for weeks.
I was just like, Yeah, and he was like, he looks at me, he's like, I don't even know why we're still showing this. Like, nobody's coming to see it. There was only like 4 people in my theater, and the other 2 people left, and the other guy next to me, like 2 seats down, who was so drunk, like he just started downing shots because he was like, I have to see this movie too. And I was like, why? But the other people left, so when it was just me and him in there, we're just making fun of the movie the entire time. Like, and I'm at one point just laughing hysterically at how bad it is.
It is such a masterpiece in
being bad.
Terrible filmmaking. Because everyone levitates off the ground. There are human hands where they're supposed to be cat hands. Mm-hmm. Their faces are supposed to be more cat-like, and they're not. It blows my mind that a movie this unfinished was put in theaters, and then they covered it up by saying that
it's for the movie.
Which some theaters never get that. And then they're just like, well, it bombed because it was up against Star Wars. No, you bombed because you're a piece of trash.
Like, your movie is bad. You cannot blame this on Star Wars.
Like, we finished it, and I felt so bad for my in-laws. Because I'm like, man, we all paid for this movie.
Yeah. And you guys, like, but they wanted to see it. You've told me that they wanted to see it.
My mother-in-law said it looks decent. And I kept being like, I don't know. I have a bad feeling about it, even before reviews dropped. The day's reviews dropped was Star Wars' greatest gift because I know they had to be crapping their pants when they hit that 56 on Rotten Tomatoes, but then Cats hit a freaking 3! And so they're like, everyone's looking at Cats and looking how bad it is.
Yeah.
That like when they want to go on Christmas Day to see a movie, no one's going to see it. Oh my god. And I feel so bad for every actor involved in that movie because Cats is such it's a famous play.
Yeah.
If on paper you told me as a famous actor that I could do Cats, I'd be like 100%. But then, if they waited and told you, hey, this is going to be CGI, I'd have been like, wait, what? And then they showed me what I look like, I'd have been like, what the heck were you doing?
This is what they should have done, and you and I talked about this.
They should have never had it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, between that, but they should have just done it exactly how the Broadway play is.
Yeah, it should have been costume, because the more people would have accepted the campiness, it would have gained I guarantee. I mean, it would have
done better.
It would have done a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I just don't know what they were trying to do.
No one does!
They were trying to make it as cat-like as possible, and it just did not work. It was terrifyingly creepy.
Do an animated cat film.
But I think they wanted to...
Or find a whole bunch of cats and just throw them in a box and just film it.
The movie is overly sexual. We have not talked about that at all.
It's really... Did you get that vibe? I got that from the first couple minutes. I was like, man, they all want to have sex.
I was what is going on with these cats?
I don't... Honestly, I didn't even get a vibe because I was just like, I'm going to kill myself.
My wife was actually scared. She told me several times, she's like, this scares me. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty weird. I'm like, these cats are going to F at some point.
Like, the beginning scene when, like, they're all, like, slowly crawling towards the bag.
I'm like,
are they about to sacrifice this cat? Is this the Jellicle choice? What is happening here?
The angelic choice is actually just like a representation of something else. We just don't know what it is.
Well, Death on the altar.
It symbolizes something, and there's
going to the next life.
Cats has a lot of debate around it, and I mean, like, Cats' ending has been debated amongst its fans. Which, I mean, granted, I think its ending alone is something that you could talk about.
Yeah.
What does it signify? What does it mean to be selected? What is all that? But at the same time, I mean, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who has sat there long enough and been like, man, I like Cats enough to debate this ending?
Yeah, I laughed so loud at the scene in the movie when they stop mid-song of the larger cat song when they're all eating the garbage or whatever, and they jump onto the seesaw to send him into the trash can, and he literally busts his balls on the side of the trash can. I actually laughed really hard. I was like, because the guy next to me is just losing his mind, and the family below us just keeps looking up at him, and I just start laughing because I'm like, has this man really ruined your experience? Like, did you genuinely want to come to this movie and you all are having a bad time because of this guy? This is the problem.
What if they actually enjoyed the movie?
They didn't. They left.
Oh. They left because of that guy. That's not because of the movie.
No. At one point, the kid just looks at his mom and he goes, "This sucks." I actually hear them. I was losing my mind because of the actual experience in the theater. I felt like it was if I went to Teen Titans Go to the Movies, Brandon, and I was wasted. Because that movie is like an acid trip. Like, you and I said that. We were like, I felt like I was on drugs watching it. Because, like, I don't know
Which
what...
one?
Cats.
Oh, yeah. I thought,
Like-
sorry, I heard about like two Titans.
I was like, what?
I was like, whoa, what?
No, I felt like there were different times where that movie was, like, subliminally altering my mind to the
So,
point where I was losing it. Like, I left that film and I was like, what did I just get myself into? This was like we already talked about the runtime being less than 2 hours, but yeah, I felt like I was there for almost 5. I was like, what happened?
so you guys have
Like-
heard that I hate Ghost Rider 2. Cats, it's so close to it. I can't.
I think Cats is worse.
Oh yeah, Cats is worse.
Yeah, I just had, I don't know, Ghost Rider 2.
There's not many movies I can think
Ghost
of
Rider
that are-
2 is, like, gives me nightmares.
Look, let's
There's
talk
not
how
about
bad
movies
it is.
worse
There's
than Cats.
at least, and I say this very loosely, there's at least one scene in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance that I do kind of like, and that's the scene where like he transforms all the machinery
Yeah.
around him into like the Hellfire stuff and uses it to take down people. Name one scene in Cats that's as good as that scene in Ghost Rider. Or the shot where Nicolas Cage is transformed, he's like,
When all,
just
when all
like
the cats who've been snapped away by McCaverty earn their freedom back. It was a
I just
beautiful
liked it.
scene where
I
they
just-
knocked
I
that
just
cat
enjoyed
into the water.
watching the cat go in the hot air balloon at the end, and
Yeah.
because that let
I was just
let me
like-
have freedom.
I was like,
That was a
I was like-
representation.
I was
but
like,
then it
freedom.
doesn't end. Then she's like, then
Yeah,
she-
she's gone, and then it goes back to Judi Dench just telling you about a cat's taste in fish,
Yeah.
or a cat's, and they just keep dancing forever. That scene went on for like
That-
15
it's like another
minutes.
10 minutes after.
I was
that.
like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Like,
I kind of forgot that it teased you.
I was like,
Like,
oh,
you
I'm
almost had
gonna,
freedom.
like, I get up and I'm like, I can finally leave, and
Whenever-
then it keeps going, and I'm like, I can't leave
When-
yet.
Whenever I have kids and they get in trouble,
Make them watch
I'm literally
Cats.
forcing them to watch Cats.
That's cruel.
What
and
if your
unusual
cat? What
punishment,
if your
sir?
cats? What if your kids start to love the movie Cats and like dress up as the cats and
I disown them.
they just become furries and take over your house?
Okay.
So I don't want to.
I think this movie gets a cult following within the next 10 years.
I think-
I
I think-
genuinely do.
I think Alamo's gonna save it. I think they're gonna owe whatever success or
Yeah, because people are allowed to go in and just make fun of this movie and like have a good time with that. Like, I think that it's almost room levels of bad to the point where people are just going to worship the film for how bad it is.
maybe. I guess we'll find out in 10 years. I think The Room itself, for me, I always appreciate where different strokes because I think a
Yeah.
movie with this kind of budget
Should not
is-
be this
is
bad.
different than a movie like The Room.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. You know, when you go to Alamo and you see all those bad clips of movies and
Yeah.
they tease them, that's what Cats is going to be
Oh,
in
yeah.
like 1 year.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to.
Or now, I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah,
now.
they start taking clips of it.
Yeah. So anyway, the Oscars are tonight.
We have not decided about. We've talked about. So I guess we can
Possibly
discuss
Dolittle?
it. What do you think about Doolittle? Not you don't have to see it in theaters, but like you have to see Well, so here's what's gonna work.
Have you seen Doolittle?
I have
No.
not, but I've heard it's terrible.
A lot of people have said it's
Well,
bad.
it can be worse than Cats, so I don't care at this
Watch
point.
Mojo did a video on which one is worse, and Cats almost won.
Well, there's some people I follow, even the people that like Cats, are like
At least
surprisingly.
it's Robert Downey Jr. At least
Yeah.
you have like somebody.
Yeah.
that
But so
can push it.
here's what I'm settling down on, is that the two losers will watch Doolittle.
yeah,
the two
unless there's some
lowest
other
scores.
movie that we see is like, oh, that looks bad.
Yeah, but we'll give it till when Doolittle comes out on Vudu or DVD or digital.
Yeah.
That will be the deadline of
And then you have to you have to buy the 4K version. Of it.
if we cannot decide on another one, you two will split the cost of renting. Two people will split the cost of
Yeah.
renting the movie.
Us, you're gonna lose. You're
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
I hope. I think I've screwed up a little bit with some of my picks,
Yeah, I
but
remember when Brandon lost at one time, and it was the end of the world for him.
we watched Holmes and Watson. That was
Yeah,
pretty great.
We had to see Holmes and Watson, and we
Yeah,
had
I
to
would rather see
Hellboy.
Holmes and Watson than freaking Cats again.
I don't know, man. They're both pretty bad, but we did laugh at the.
We need to
turtle
make a
joke in
rule
Holmes and
that
Watson.
no matter what future punishments, we can never have to watch Cats again because that's just
I'll
unbearable.
That's
do that.
cruel and unusual punishment. So when,
I'll
when you
second
said
that
that you would have your kids watch
This
that, I'm like,
is live recorded.
I would not have people in Guantanamo Bay watch Cats. That is awful. And they already play the Sesame Street theme song on repeat there. Like,
And
no. I would not subject anybody to have to watch Cats
It's like the first time they get to
against
see
their
a movie
will.
in like 40
If somebody
years.
is willing to try to endure what we had to in the theater, then by all means, go watch Cats.
I can just see one of those prisoners getting released from there, and like on the airplane back, They just show cats and they're like, take me back. Just take me back.
Just, what have I done?
I don't want to be free anymore.
He just like starts painting his nose and then drawing whiskers on himself, and he just runs around like on all fours and scratches people. He's just lost his mind because.
So hold on,
we're losing our mind talking about this.
So
right
I
now.
just real quick before we end, somebody put out this chart of like the DCU opening weekends, and like Birds of Prey is like the lowest, but you can tell after BVS how like less and less money were brought into them outside of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because people got more and more cautious because like BVS opened 166 million.
Yeah.
And like Justice League did 90, Aquaman did 60, Shazam did 50, and Birds of Prey did 30. Like you can just see like
And like Justice League, just the title should have been
$1 billion movie.
And I watched Justice. I was telling you, I watched Justice League the other day, and I can't believe how bad it is.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
They need to just do this thing called hit the big red button that says reboot and just be done.
The only thing I hate about it is Wonder Woman and I mean
Shazam.
Gal Gadot and just like you got the big three there: Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam, and the rest of it I would just scrap. I don't care.
Wait,
about
Shazam
Flash.
wasn't in Justice League.
No, Shazam wasn't. But
No.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
just,
talking about Justice League.
Oh.
well, we can.
Oh, you're talking about what the
In
cinematic...
general?
I mean, I would scrap... I don't know. We can talk about...
I'd
We'll talk
probably
about
scrap
that.
everything.
We'll talk about that some other day. Wonder Woman 1984 or 1984 is coming out later this year. But let's end it. I'm tired of talking about cats and it's garbage. So if you follow us on whatever, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Twitch. We will be trying...
Twitch.tv/nothingcoherent. All
Yeah,
lowercase.
we actually do have a Nothing Coherent. It's all one word on Twitch. Maybe plan some streamings out in the future. We've attempted to. We need to get a better schedule on it. We promise we will get around to that. That's our goal for this year.
Yep.
So thank you for listening. Sorry you didn't do it. Sorry about cats. But hopefully, next week I'll be reviewing Sonic. Maybe everyone will. I don't know.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Probably seen Sonic the Hedgehog. So
and that could be a bad movie also, but
we'll see.
we'll see. No one has 5% chance. Bye.
Meow.